Today in the Black Market Outpost, we go wild. Wild West, that is. Everyone knows this as the Wild West. Me, on the other hand, I'm more interested in this version of the Wild West. I want to create my own version of a speeder bike, and I want to do it using this deodorant stick. So let's head over to the shop and check out the build.
I started off by going through my greeblies and gathering a few things that I thought would work for this project. Some of them are pretty obvious, some of them not so much. I used a wooden dowel to attach all the plumbing parts I chose for the bottom of the turbine engine. I attached the handlebars using a mechanical connection just for stability purposes. I think I've mentioned it in previous videos, but the hobby saw is a tremendous tool for this kind of work. I knew ahead of time that a lot of the greeblies I was going to use for the engine components were going to be surface mounted. I also know I wanted both sides of the speeder to be different. I wanted to sink this greebly into the side of the speeder just to give it a more fit appearance. I sanded the entire deodorant bottle in order to prepare it for primer. I used a bit of leftover shoelace from the Tatooine hut project to hide the seams between the deodorant bottle and the greebly. I used styrene to give the body panel of the speeder some dimension before I attached all the greeblies to the surface. I used 16th inch EVA foam to create saddlebags for the back of the speeder. A good portion of the greeblies I used all came from model kits of various cars and tanks and planes. There's just something magical about the primer coat. It just brings everything together. While I was waiting for the primer to dry, I decided I was going to make a companion droid for the speeder out of an old broken B1 battle droid that I had laying around. I applied a silver rub and buff to some of the engine components just to give it that metallic look. I felt that the color on the speeder was too solid, so I went around and added some very faint yellow striping in various areas. I went around the speeder with some standard black paint and just touched up some of the areas and changed the color to break up the flow a little. I knew from the beginning I was going to turn this into some sort of diorama. I just wasn't exactly sure what that diorama was going to be. It was at this point where I knew exactly what this diorama needed to be, and I proceeded to take it there. I recently purchased a hot wire knife, and I gotta admit, for foam, it's the tool to have. Once I set that speeder bike down on the base, it just screamed at me Cobb Vanth. So I knew right away I had to go with some sort of a Western theme. I mean, after all, Tatooine might as well be the wild, wild west of a galaxy far, far away. I covered the SPX foam in beige acrylic with Mod Podge and plaster. That is a technique I learned from Boylai Hobby Time. Once the plaster Mod Podge mix dried, I brushed it with a darker khaki color. While I was waiting for the khaki paint to dry, I thought the speeder bike needed another yellow stripe across the top. I then gave it a standard wash of burnt umber to darken up and put some shadows in the area. After the wash dried, I gave it a dusting of a red rust pigment powder just to bring in some highlights.
When you start a project, you don't always know what direction it's headed in, but eventually it all starts to make sense. Just remember, the most important thing is Make time to make something.